Hey y'all, it's Renegayde. Let's spill some Reali-Tea on RuPaul's Drag Race UK. Season 7 is on, you lucky cows. Make sure you like and subscribe for more, because you're not going to want to miss a single spot of content this season. On this episode, it's time for the Hun makeovers, and is it possible for the season to get rated even worse than it already is? Well, spoiler alert, there is! But before we dive in, let me introduce my co-host, and he's the true queen of the Huns. It's QuackrrJack.
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, Jack, it could be going so much better. I mean, a common theme that we've really seen this season has been just how terribly received it is by the fans, right? And if I was to tell you currently this episode was tied for the lowest rated episode of the season, would you believe it?
I would believe it, but I think that it's crazy because this is one of the, if not the best episode of the whole season.
Oh, it's funny because this is actually tied for the worst episode of the season currently on IMDb for a 5.3.
Yeah. Well,
And
all the people who like certain people are gonna rate it poorly, even if it's a good episode, and that's exactly why we're here.
I mean, I do see the flaws with certain parts of the episode, and we can kind of talk about that now because I don't think certain aspects of the challenge really worked as well as they wanted it to. I do think there were some definite positives to it, but I also think the judging probably didn't help this week for certain individuals. But let's get into specifically thoughts on the challenge in particular because again it's called the Hun makeovers, where the queens make over celebrity Huns. We have singer Michelle McManus, actress Diane Parrish, singer Charlotte Church, actor and presenter Shabna Gladi, actress and TV personality Danny Harmer, and TV personality David Potts as our Huns. And I like the idea, but I also can see why this could be not so liked by the fans, Jack. And we're gonna just kind of talk about the idea of it before we actually talk about what happens here, right? So, I mean, let's already say makeovers are already controversial as they are, right? So there were definitely some judging points that were brought up in this panel here that didn't really make a whole lot of sense. There was a lot of critiques again where this whole judging feels like they're just spouting out words and then they're going behind the scenes and making actual decisions and not like telling the queens anything like really truthful that they need to hear on the runway. So I do think that's part of it already. Like 100 times over, we already talked about the issue with the makeovers when it comes to that. But I think when it comes to the celebrity partner portion of it, I do kind of feel like they did overshadow the queens a bit, and they've had an issue so much this season with trying to tell any sort of cohesive, coherent story at all whatsoever, to the point where I don't feel like there was any sort of true narrative that we kind of got from this season or from this episode in particular. Like it didn't feel like a lot of the queens were truly connecting. Like they were having fun with their celebrities. I didn't feel that true like connection that we get. And I feel like when it comes to makeover partners, you kind of go in two different directions, right? You go the serious direction where they kind of went like last year, where you have people that they know, so they have that true emotional connection, right? Or you could go like how they kind of used to do like season like 3, 4 in the US, where they had like the straight men come in and you lead into the comedy and the absurdity and just the goofiness of the whole situation of what they're leaning into. And I think those are the two kind of directions you could really go with makeovers, and this one kind of felt like they were really trying to like have a little bit of the comedy and have a little bit of the seriousness, but they just did not edit it well at all whatsoever. And it was a good episode, but it it didn't make a whole lot of like. I don't feel like I know anybody any more than I did before that happened, other than maybe with Slexa and her partner and Bones and Charlotte. Those were the only two that I felt anything, and Katrin's partner. I like Katrin's partner, but like that was my big issue with it. It didn't feel like it really led me to really feel like I got to know anybody any more than what I did.
For me, and I feel like a lot of fans will feel this way. A lot of the times, I don't really care about what the girls are going through if it's not something that's like too serious. And I think for this specifically, these are celebrities. I don't know about you, but as a like poor person who happens to be like lower class, I don't really care about a celebrity's like problems so much because I'm like, you're making money, girl. Like I'm not. So for me, I'm like, I don't care about your problems. Like, I'm so sorry, but it doesn't affect me, girl. But you know what does affect me? I want to see the makeovers. I want to see who does a good job. I want to see if the judges get it right. And though there were some critiques that were kind of messed up, and I do think there's one kind of choice that they made that's wrong. I do think the outcomes are the best possible outcomes we could have had this season in this
Yeah,
challenge
but I've sort
at
of
this point.
realized that like I think the issue is that like when they've already like screwed up as bad as they have like a couple episodes ago, right? You're already not going to be happy going into it because the queens that are here shouldn't necessarily be the queens that maybe the fandom thinks should be here. So you're already having that, right? And then you kind of throw in the fact that like maybe the makeovers aren't as great. But then you also throw into the fact also with what you're saying there the fact that it's just not relatable with the content that they're bringing here. It's just I don't think the idea really worked well. I think it would work well in a all-star season where these queens are already like maybe on the same level or at least like B-list celebrities at that point, you know what I mean? But like they're at this point they haven't even had the opportunity to get off the show and enjoy the fame themselves. So them hanging out with celebrities, I'm just like there's just a disconnect there and it's just there's it was basically kind of 30 minutes of time leading up before the runway there. It was just yeah, glorified filler. Yes, you know.
That's what almost every single makeover is for me. Every makeover episode feels like some glorified, overcomplicated people talking about problems, and I'm like, not to be disrespectful, but I care more about like the drama. I want to see the like storyline of what they're going through. I would rather see them making the outfits personally if they have to do any of that. Like I want to see the girls talking like, oh, that girl will not look good in that. Like I want to see that kind of stuff. I don't care so much about people's like, I have this or I have that. And especially one of the contestants kept talking poorly about her body. And I was a very like, girl, I need you to stop hating on yourself because you're pretty. Like, you don't have to do this. But, I think that if you really want that depth and whatnot, a 30-minute segment on it, it's hard to come by because girls were so peppy and talky and everything like that. Like we rarely got into anything serious, and so for me, that doesn't really persuade me of saying the episode's bad. It just means that it's the makeover episode, and it's kind of expected at this point, from at least from me.
I mean, I get that, but I think when we had like UK sixes, the one that we just had last season, where it was like one of the most emotional episodes, and I think the highest rated episode of the season, if I'm not, maybe if not, it was one of the highest ones, but like that was a great emotional episode when it came to like storytelling, came to getting to know people a little bit better, came to storylines that actually felt like they were kind of relevant to certain things, and it wasn't all just negativity. Because I remember specifically like Lavoie and her father had such like a beautiful relationship to to witness. So like we didn't get any of that in this episode at all. So it's like if you're not gonna go fully emotional, like I said, go at least the comedy route. Like bring a bunch of straight guys in. Like let's laugh about the situation, right? And we didn't even and we kind of got that a little bit with like Danny, um, but like it there it there's too much there was too much emotional whiplash and like even the emotional depth that we got wasn't even like scratching the surface of what we could have gotten. So I it was just not that great. Like it was fine, but it wasn't as good as it probably could have been in a lot of ways. But let's just move past that because I one
Wait,
thing I did.
can I just
Oh
say?
yeah, go for it.
Can I just say? I felt like the comedy came at the runway.
I mean, true, true.
That's where we got the
Yeah,
comedy.
I mean, we can get there in a second. We can talk about that comedy because I think I know what you're referring to here. But the one
Mm-hmm.
the one
Mm-hmm.
thing I did kind of like, but I also thought it was kind of shady, and I also did not agree with how these people were making their decisions. Is the fact that they kind of came in their order, right, and basically how they entered. The Huns got to select which of their drag queens became their partners based off their Brit Gala looks, and I'm just like, how did Elle and Katrin get picked before Bones and Selects? I'm
After
gagged. Gagged.
after seeing the people who picked them and what they presented on the stage, I'm not shocked. I do think it was a sin against humanity that Bones and Celexa were not the first two picked based upon the outfits, and Tayra should have been third easily. But I thought it was kind of fucked up. I was like, so you're gonna let the one gay man get the last pick and put him with a girl that looks like a cow? That's fucked up.
Oop. Well,
I'm just saying, we all saw it.
we did
And then
see
they said,
it.
"Oh, it's Dalmatian." I said, "Okay."
We did
Like,
see it, and we did try to justify it differently, and Jack still isn't buying it. So, well, that's really all I kind of had to talk about before we actually got to the runway here. So,
let's
um,
get to it.
yeah,
This is the good part.
let's just jump in here and let's talk about, I would say, the top two first, and then we can kind of work our way down to the others here. But
The
uh,
bottom four, yeah.
yeah, without a doubt, I think the
I
the top
agree.
two were uh, Bones and Charlotte Church, aka Blood, and Slux Addiction and Shabna Gulati, aka Seduce Addiction, and they both went in two very, very great directions. I was kind of going back and forth on who I really wanted to see win, but I feel like the connection that Bones and Blood had was just that it was, you could tell how good Charlotte felt in her outfit, how good she looked, and just the fun that she was having, the playfulness, the storyline. It was fun. It was good. Like I don't think I've seen a makeover in a long time that has given me the kind of the same sort of oomph that I got from like Bones. And I really like this look from them. I thought they both did great, but I do have to give the edge to Bones for sure.
I mean, there's no competition in my mind. So let me start with Celexa. I like what Celexa did. You can tell there's a lot of matching between her and her partner. I do think the cut of a few of where the feathers went and like how it ended up was not necessarily my favorite. That being said, I think they both look good. I think one of the biggest things for me that just took a little bit away from their family resemblance, especially was the like see-through fabric that was used was all over uh one of the contestants, and then Celexa literally had like a strand that came from her hair that turned, I guess, into either like a cape or almost a train kind of thing. It really wasn't, it kind of felt like it was an afterthought. There wasn't much put into her outfit like that. And I'm not saying that maybe something didn't go wrong. I'm not saying that this was just, maybe it just wasn't what I was liking. I did like Celexa's gauntlets when I didn't have to see the underside. That was just the thread. I did like the shoulder piece that gave it that asymmetrical look. And the shoes were great for both their outfits. I think a lot of what was going on here was very beautiful, but it was nowhere near Bones. Bone was like a mile and a half away from the rest of the girls. Like My Fair Lady meeting like Little Bo Peep meeting Saloon Girl meeting Bridgerton kind of thing going on here. It's so beautiful. And one of the best things is outfits made of similar or same materials and the same colors, done completely different silhouettes and everything. And I just can't get over how smart this was. Bones took this advantage to make herself stand out from the rest of the girls who did this, because almost everyone else looks matchy matchy. She looks so similar yet completely different from Charlotte here. Like first of all, she highlighted every great aspect of Charlotte, in my opinion. She looks amazing in the hair. She looks amazing in the chest. The chest is everything, actually. The way that she did not cover up the neck and made sure that it was that the corset came in on her as well. She has a perfect shape. She has a beautiful, beautiful gown. She has beautiful like tulle all throughout the arms, which really give it a different dimension. And it's just the different stylings. It's so smart. It's so good. It's got so many references. I could not name them all if I tried. And then when you look at Bones, complete opposite. Not a dress, long sleeves, a few bows to match the other outfit. She has them as pasties basically, and then she also has a few just on her outfit, like at the arms. And I found this to be so smart. The tilted hat of the same outfit, like the neck piece on her, and then it straps in for the hat, like same color hair. She made herself have like a pencil mustache. I mean, it's all these details. It's details, 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 and uh, corset, pants, but like pantaloon, and it's just everything was so good here. I When she hit that stage, the judges said they gasped. I gasped, and I was so thankful because from what I saw before that, I was like, "Ooh, I'm getting nervous." But we
Yeah.
had a good moment.
Yeah, Bones definitely for sure saves us here this week, thankfully. It's been rough on these runways the last couple weeks for Drag Race, but Bones definitely came in to save us here. Definitely deserved this win as well too. So glad that she got her second win officially now. But let's talk about this. I would say yeah, bottom four as you referred to them earlier, because I would say there's a very clear bottom one, and then I do
Bottom
think you could
two,
kind of make I think you could kind of make reasons why another girl could be in the bottom with her as well out of these. But, you know, one of them I don't think as much, but I'm not the judges. But let's
let's get
talk
into
about
it.
our bottom four here again. We have Elvosk and Vanity Vosk. We have Katrin Feelings and Shirley Bassey. We have Daenerys Mongardi and Daenerys and Bonnie and Clyde and Mary and Joseph. And yeah, let's start off with the worst one first.
No, please, can we save the worst one for
No,
last,
let's stay.
please?
Let's start with the first one first because I feel like then we could get into the reasonings why like the other because there's a very clear. It's very clear who the bottom is, right?
And they almost saved
So
her. They almost did, girl. I'm
they
telling
really
you.
did. They really almost did save Bonnie, but like this was unforgivable. It's like I get the fact that she had to, tailor an outfit
No,
for
no,
for
no, no
for
excuses.
David. No, I'm not using this as an excuse. I'm saying I get that she had to do a little more work in her situation, but it's also a situation where I mean, if you're coming on the show and you're doing all this, I feel like you should be prepared to do all that. And this was just a train wreck. Uh,
The whole thing.
all of like I if you're gonna do it, I feel like she should have just had one of them do one outfit, one of them do the other one, right? Like the mix
Yes.
and matching was just awkward. And then I do think the judges were right that if they were gonna go in that direction, at least have the other one be like something slightly different sort of pattern if you're gonna mix and match it that way, because like it was just really weird to look at. Like it was a really weird looking uh, yeah, like I get like they forced them to wear these kind of outfits in like season 7 when they had to do like the tango challenge or whatever, and they had to like switch genders halfway through, right? Or like they did to Silky in that one runway. But you're not gonna actually do this in a challenge where you're trying to be like fashionable. So I don't get what Bonnie
That
was
word does not,
thinking
that word's
at
not in
all.
Bonnie's vocabulary in the slightest. How dare you?
Oh, sorry, I just offended her. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it at all.
Girl, you could never offend
This
me
was
in the way that
trash.
this did. Let's talk about this trash. Let's go second by second because this is why it's going to be like a 5 minute analysis. Okay, so let's talk about it. Her name is Bonnie and Clyde. So she decides to do a Bonnie and Clyde look, and she wants to do a mixed gender thing, man on one side, woman on the other side. And the thing is, oh, God, where do we start? I mean, first of all, the look itself, trash, mama. It's garbage. The colors are basically the same. You can barely tell where it changes, except for the awful looking nude bodysuit part of it. Right? That's the only indicator you really have of it being a different outfit. because it doesn't look good ever. Not anywhere. Bonnie and Clyde looks a damn mess herself. So if you think Bonnie and Clyde was going to look bad and then you had to get rid of someone else and put them in this, I was like, you know what? This is abuse. This this is like every like fat person's biggest nightmare to ever go through. And as a fat person, let me tell you something. What Bonnie and Clyde did was like destroy her, like, how do I say this thing? No, I can't. She destroyed this runway to the point of which we have never seen a makeover look so bad. This is worse than La Rie's bag ball look, and I'm going to tell you why. So first of all, let's start with the hair. The hair, cheap, synthetic looking, awful, never been touched before. All they did was just try to part it in the middle to get the two different colors on each side, which is supposed to be showing them as different people. But how come the hair is the exact same on both sides, except a different color? How does that give us a man and a woman kind of outfit, a masculine, feminine thing? I was like, it doesn't give me shit. It was trash, mama. The hair is garbage. Not to mention, it is so cheap and so ugly looking that Bonnie herself looks like a hot ass mess in this. Like, I thought there was going to be a reveal of the hair because I was like, certainly you couldn't be putting on these wigs or put it on David and say to yourself, yeah, that looks good. No, bitch, she did. Somehow she did. Okay, and then from the hair, let's continue with the top part of it. The audacity of putting that single feather in David's hair on the blonde side, because that was like the kind of feminine side of his outfit, and you can't even tell the difference because it just blends in with the blondness of the hair. And then she put a little tilted hat on her brown side because that was supposed to go with the masculine look or whatever. And I was like, you couldn't have at least traded who had what, because let's be real, that, like, you did the makeup terribly because you don't know how to do makeup that well, right? It was smudged. If you looked in, it was smudged. It was a mess. And that little hat is falling off of her head. It's literally almost 90-degree angle on the side. Like, we're talking, if this girl just slightly tilted her head, that hat would fall to the ground and probably take the wig with it, because I don't even know if it was even secured. Based on the outfit and based on what the execution was, I doubt it was. I doubt it was. Like, I mean, come on. The audacity of having a single earring and putting it on the side where you have the big shoulder piece of fur there, it makes no sense. It actually just makes it look crunched, and their necks are being eaten alive. And the earring looks exactly like the faux tragedy, shitty flapper fringe dress we've seen 17,000 times at every single fucking stage of RuPaul's Drag Race. And the audacity that you brought only 1/3 of that outfit on each side. Like, she didn't even bring it to the halfway point, girl. It didn't even go to the point of where it was supposed to meet the other look. She wasn't even giving enough of the fabric just for it to fit her body. So you can only imagine what's going to look on David, except you can't. You only can imagine because David has a money bag, whereas Bonnie has a gun. And David held the body bag in the money bag. Sorry, I mean it is a body bag at this point. Because it's really like taking away the whole like. Look, you can tell. Okay, let's talk about it. The money bag is in front of David the whole time on the runway. There's not a single even frame they were going to show us of what it looked like, because that outfit was ripped. It did not fit. She put a panel of that silvery metallic ugly ass fabric in the middle that made no sense. Put that shit on David and it was like, you know what? That's good. The audacity, mama. I could not believe that she had him walking down this runway like this. I think production should have stepped in and just said, put up one of those messages, due to breaking the rules of Drag Race kind of thing, Bonnie and Clyde's been disqualified this episode, and not even allow her to sit on the runway, because
just
having to
remove
watch
her from this show.
even in Untucked, the whole time David has the money bag in front of him because he can't take it away because it's literally not enough fabric there. It's ripped. I don't know what exactly all happened there. But the tragedy of whatever is going on here is so sick and twisted. I have no clue what Bonnie and Clyde all did, but let's continue.
The way that
Okay.
Jack is calling for Bonnie and Clyde to be arrested at this moment is
I mean,
it's
that's what
too
this
much
look
for
is.
me.
This is like the worst look
Oh.
I've ever seen in my life. And it's disrespectful because Bonnie and Clyde like didn't even look good herself, but she had the audacity to try to make herself look better than David, and you can tell because David, uh, I mean, Mama, Miss Doubtfire looked better in the face than David does here.
Oop.
Like it's embarrassing what she did to that face. Look at that! Look at that! David is literally like the twin who gets locked up by the parents and you never see her. David is giving Poot like Poot Lovato kind of thing, like Demi and Poot kind of thing. David is the Poot right now. Like you've never seen David come to the light, and this is their first time going out in the town. And Bonnie said, "You know what? Let me still sabotage it." Like, why? Why did you have to do that to her? You already did the makeup bad. You already gave her a shitty outfit. She said, "Let me make sure the makeup's bad, the hair is bad, the outfit is bad. Put this money bag in front of you because you also can't even do anything right, and I don't care about fixing it for you." And you know what? Instead of just trying to show off your chest at all with the nude illusion just like maybe taped down and you just using your normal like chest, let me just put a trashy ass tinfoil looking silver over it, and it probably goes all the way down. I guarantee you it's a goddamn panel, just goes all the way down, and that's what you would have saw at the money bag, or there wasn't enough of the panel left and there's just a hole there with some of those silver showing, and that's why the money bag is literally like glued, stapled to David's front. He can't let go of it because if he does, Bonnie and Clyde will take that gun and shoot him. The producers would literally have to give a like 1,000 page apology to every resident in the UK. Like, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know who allowed this, but nothing prepared anyone for this goddamn runway. And clearly, no one prepared Bonnie, and she had no clue she was going to have to do this. And the audacity of picking one of the ugliest, ugliest ideas for a concept of a runway and trying to make that work is crazy to me. If your name is Bonnie and Clyde and you're trying to do like a Bonnie and Clyde look, which is what you're trying to do because you're bank robbers, and that's, come on now, why not one of you be Bonnie and one of you be Clyde? Is that too on the nose? So instead, we'll just make it look like Frankenstein's monster come to life? But make it Bonnie and Clyde? Like, no, thank you, ma'am. This is tragic. David looks like Frankenstein's monster dressed up in Bonnie and Clyde's quote unquote best drag that she was going to wear on the end game. And they're still going to tell her, "You look gorgeous, Bonnie." Just like they tell Elle every goddamn week on the runway. No matter what you wear, that tinfoil and cardboard baby, yes, winner.
That's
Like, I could
actually a
not
good
with it.
segue there. Let's talk about Elle next, because while you're on it, you're on one. So I want to know what your thoughts are on Elle, because I was very much so. I get that we bring our makeover stuff from home now. I get that we're not required to have to like make it in the room anymore. I get that, but what is this obsession with bringing these gigantic outfits that could just, like it just reminds me of like the Gigi Good gigantic coat thing. It's
Mhm.
just like these things that could just fit everybody at any point and not even have any sort of shape to them. And then the other thing that drives me nuts about this too isn't even so much Elle's fault. It's what Michelle told her is the fact that she was like, well, "You're giving more like best friends going out than sisters." I'm just like, what? Where are we getting these ideas from? Like, where is like the difference between like family, best friends dressing in matching colors? Because like, as far as I'm concerned, I feel like everybody gave me a family resemblance here on the runway for the most part. Even Bonnie gave David the abused family look, right? So like everybody kind of looked to some degree to the point where I don't think I could really judge whether or not they really looked family or not. But like, where is the difference between sisters and best friends? Can someone please like draw the line for me and tell me? Because I don't understand that critique that Michelle gave. I do
Look,
get that these were simple and I didn't like them and I probably would have put them in the bottom three. But we can't
I
put Elle in
mean,
the bottom this season. We just can't do it. So
If she's in the bottom, she'll be in the bottom on the final episode. If she's in the bottom, but she won't be because we're gonna get Tavis and Katrin there. But anyways, so let's talk about it. Elle brought these two outfits that she got off of the Amazon storefront or the Temu that was like the faux Amazon look, right? She brought these straight up from Amazon. She said, "Let me get some tights that kind of match the color and two heels the same color." She said, "We'll just get some nails that match the magenta and the sky blue, and then I'll get magenta hair and I'll give you seafoam." And I was like, "Wait a minute, what?" So let's talk about it. Elle picked the easiest, and you said it yourself, the oversized outfit. It's so easy. It has its own collar. It has the puffy ruffle at the end of the wrists, right? It has the band in the middle that you can just tighten to make yourself look more cinched. And it goes down and becomes a nice kind of dress at the knee or right below the knee, depending on how you fit into the dress, right? It's simple, it's effective, it doesn't scream makeover, it screams, I just need to get past this one episode. um, and the audacity that Elle doesn't have that bad of makeup, but you look over and you're like, let me go look back at Elle. You know, if you compare them side by side, Elle looks like Daphne from Scooby Doo, kind of almost, right? And uh, her sister right there, Daphne's sister, is one of those quadruplets that no one knows their names. Like
Who?
that's Daisy Blake right there. Daisy Blake to her left. But instead, you know, we have this whole matchy thing. All it is some goddamn pantyhose tights, whatever, of the same color, a shoe of the same color, you know, with that ankle strap that they always complain about, but they didn't complain about it this time. Just mentioning it. We have Elle has the blue earrings and her partner has the pink earrings, and then her partner has blue eyebrows and pink eyeshadow, and Elle has the pink eyebrows and the blue eyeshadow, and that's the only thing that makes them like kind of matchy, right? Except for the outfit being the same in a different color. It's very safe. It's very boring. It's like she basically didn't do the makeover. And the hair. What is up with this hair? I just this is like some seafoam, teal, green kind of thing going on. It was the closest I could get to sky blue, and the time permitted, right? Like, and the makeup she did on the girl, she doesn't look hideous, but the eyebrows are so horizontal compared to Elle, and I think part of that is because of their shape faces being a little bit different. But Elle should have really dragged her up here in the face because she could have looked prettier. Elle looks
It,
like she spent like 4 hours on her face and then did her partners in 30.
maybe because she
Like
did.
does
Oop.
she probably did. And
Ugh.
I just felt like there was nothing going on here. It was boring. Take it to the next. Honestly, this should have
Yeah.
been bottom three, but they put it in top three because it's L. This should have been bottom three, but here we are.
Can I say the other thing about it too that really irks me is what is Elle's brand? What is her point of view? What is
Color.
her
Supposed to be
I
colorful, I guess.
don't
That's it.
get
That is the only thing.
colorful isn't a brand though. Like that's not a point of view to me, you know? It's just
I
I
mean,
get everybody else's style. Even Katrin's is not great, but I get it.
hold
But
up,
like
hold up, hold
I
up.
don't get what Elle
What
is
do you mean everyone else's
giving.
style? Bonnie and Clyde is right there. If you
I
use
well, she's
style
not
next
in
to
the
Bonnie
show
and Clyde, this is
she's
the
not
same.
in the show anymore, so she doesn't count right now. So I'm not trying to
Okay,
talk about
okay.
her. I'm talking about the ones that are still in. And at this point, I just don't get her brand at all. Like if you're like putting all of her looks next to each other, the only thing I might get from it is like semi crafty. I
This
don't
is
get it. I don't get it.
it's
I just
just
don't get it.
it is just supposed to be colorful and it pops out. That is, I guess, what her style is. To the best of my ability, that is the best I can tell you. Is she stands out because of the colors, not necessarily for the good reasons.
Well, I don't know. I don't agree with that. But the other thing I didn't agree with here was Terrace being in the bottom three. But you know, we kind of already said why
Caucasian
we would put
Royale, let's
L
go
in the
for
bottom
it.
three. But yeah, I loved Terrace's idea too, especially considering that I mean she did not even have a partner who is of color, right? So she's I think she was really smart to go off this clueless route because it is something that you kind of can refer to. Yes, they were best friends, but you could also, I mean, if you're going for a reference and things like that, it's a very clear reference, right? You get the idea
Yeah.
behind it. So I could read sisters into it, but it's also a situation where it's like they pick and choose when they want to have family resemblance and not actually matter. And them saying that they didn't look like family, well, obviously they're not going to look like family because obvious reasons. But to say that, like, she didn't transfer her style or do the assignment to me is I don't get it personally. I thought, and she actually gave looks that were relatively fashionable and looked good as well too. And they weren't just two gigantic coats or a
They
sheep.
were simple. They were iconic looks. We all knew what they were from. The one thing that Taylor should get critiqued on, and they didn't say this out loud. I think they should have, even though they're trying to spare her feelings. The makeup was rough. What she did, but to be fair, the only thing that she did poorly on her partner was the face. Other girls did worse. And yes, her outfit kind of looks a little cheap, but I think we have to remember that this is a complete reference, and if you're going off of like best friends aren't family kind of idea, like we've seen, and I don't want to call her out because I don't think that this is like a call out or anything, but Crystal uh did one of the best looks, I think, in a makeover where she was Bert and Ernie, right? Crystal Method. And it was so much fun, and it was so in her drag style and everything. I think this is Taylor's like drag style. I think this is her brand. It's like pretty girls being fun on the runway, having a good time. Like I think this is her brand. Like, and so if we're gonna give Al the pass on just doing a goddamn coat, why is Tayrus in the bottom for actually having two outfits that are literal references rather than just coats? Other than the fact that her makeup isn't good enough, because Al's girl didn't have good makeup either. So, I mean, yes, there was way too much highlight on Tayrus's partner's face, but I mean, bottom three, no Mary, no ma'am.
Yeah.
The outfits are more creative.
It felt like that was coming though. It felt like we don't know what to do, so we're just
Yeah,
gonna stick Harris in the bottom. But um, the I will say again, you're right. The bottom two is correct, and we can go and finish up with our last queen, which is Katrin Feelings. And um, I will say I don't like the fact that her partner Shirley Bassey, they decided to like name her after the sheep versus trying to find like a name that is actually like a family name with Katrin. I felt like that
yeah.
was already like a strike against them for me. But yeah, I didn't like the idea. I didn't like the concept. I didn't like the execution. I wanted to try to like it more because like they were having fun and it seemed like the guest judge was kind of enjoying it. I couldn't tell. Her the guest, her actress. I couldn't really tell what was going on with her. Honestly, I mean, I would be a little shocked too if I was be coming on to Drag Race expecting to like go in drag and then someone's like, "Oh, you're gonna be a sheep." I'd be like, "Oh, well, I picked the wrong partner."
Girl,
But you did this to
land to the
yourself.
slaughter.
You did
You
this to
did this to
yourself,
yourself.
Diane, because you picked her because you wanted a green dress and you picked the ugliest green dress there. So that's
She
really
did
all I have
pick
to say.
possibly the worst outfit up on that wall, and she wasn't forced into it. So now that being said, I do have to critique Katrin here because it's only fair I give her the critiques that I give everyone else. Um, so I don't think Katrin looks terrible here. I think this is the level of polish I expect from Katrin, right? This is her drag. It's campy and cheap looking, and it's supposed to be funny most of the time, right? So I can't really say much about it. It's a floofy skirt and floofy like shoulders or arms, depending on which one has like which outfit you're looking at. So in terms of Katrin, it's just this square ass black fabric in the middle that kind of pisses me off on her alone. Other than the fact like it's kind of cheap and ugly. Um, Now, Shirley, first of all, the wig needs to be pulled up at least an inch, if not more, further. Because the amount of forehead that Katrin gave her, unacceptable. She looks crazy. Um, the hair is already cheap, right? The hair is cheap, and Katrin has the better of the two wigs, it looks like. So that was already a strike against her. I can't even see the ears coming out of Shirley's, like, basically, so it's rough. Does she look like Katrin? Yeah, for the most part, opposite of the arms. But the arms just give a terrible shape. You would think the fluffy was good, but here it was like, is that a peplum on your mid shoulder? Like, what is this? Um, Tutu meets Cloud meets peplum, and they all unfortunately get mixed together into one of the ugliest fabrics you've ever seen. And then one of the other things about her look that I really dislike is the cutoff of the legs. First of all, the cutoff area is the middle of the shin. It does not look good. A little bit closer to the lower part of the shin, obviously, and it looks terrible because Katrin's goes all the way down. And I was like, if you're going to go with this and hers aren't going to go all the way down, you either need to find more material to make it go all the way down, or the other option is you cut them to the length that you want them. But another thing, this is a detail and it must be said, if you look at the end of them, they are not tailored at all. There are threads, there's little cut pieces. It looks like it was ripped kind of thing. It looks terrible. And those kind of details matter, especially at this part of the competition, but it's ugly. It's bad. Are they family related? Sure, but ugly.
Not a family I
So,
want to be a
like,
part of.
if I was part of this family, girl, I hope I was the black sheep because if I looked
Ooh,
like them, I would, you know what? I'm not coming back. Let me just tell you, the shepherd can go find someone else because she's not shepherding me with them.
Jack is running away from that household. He is running away. Well, yeah. I mean, I have a theory here, and let me know if you agree
Ugly
with
Jack.
this. No, I've just been thinking because we've been having some issues, obviously, with like the boot order and whatnot, and I've been thinking about it, and I think I voiced this to you already, but I just want to just have a slight discussion about it because it feels very convenient to me that we end up in this final six, right? With I would say like two fashion queens with Slexa and Bones, and then we have like two queens like Katrin and Bonnie that we know are not like good at fashion, that haven't really produced anything great in some of the other like fashion design challenges that might have should have probably maybe been the bottom or eliminated at this point. Whereas like girls like Page Three or like maybe even a Chai Tea Grande, uh, Young Bella, that maybe have gone out like before their time, right? So clearly, like this top six probably wouldn't be the top six most people were expecting or thinking, but it's the top six we got. And I'm just of the mindset that I'm like, did they literally drag like Katrin and Bonnie this far? Not to say that like Katrin probably could have made it, but I do think Bonnie probably should have been eliminated by now. Even though she got two wins, but I think she should have been eliminated by now. But do they drag them knowing that they're terrible at these kind of challenges, knowing that they're going to fail the makeover because it felt like they were the cushion to make sure that someone like Elle, who questionable taste, but they're pushing clearly. It just feels like they were brought there to make sure that, like, well, if they're there, Elle definitely won't be in the bottom two.
I've said it before. Yes, I totally feel that way. Would they call themselves like the Celtic Trio or something like that? And I was like, I don't get why all of you are still here. Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but there's a lot of the same going on here. And I would also say, like, there've just been so many episodes where I've been like, how are we not putting this girl in the bottom? How did this girl not get in the bottom? Like that first episode, why was Elle even in the top and not towards the bottom? Or
Right.
even in the bottom? Like, and when you look back at it, you're like, Katrin could have easily been in the bottom for that one look. And her final look, her hometown look was like very meh. But I mean, it's just it's it's questionable taste. It's questionable when we get there. You know, we see their looks on the look at the ball. How did Bonnie and Clyde end up not being in the bottom during the ball episode? You can't explain that. No one can explain the rumble in the jungle, like, kind of thing, right? So it's just, there's been so many times where the girls have deserved to be, you know, just thrown out, but it just doesn't happen. I don't know. I don't know where we're doing this. I don't know how we got here. Like, it makes no sense to me. But I think I could at least see two of them here, maybe. Potentially. I don't know. It's really hard to say. It just makes no sense, though. It does feel like they're being strung along, so that way, you know, now that Bonnie's gone, all of a sudden, Bones has two badges, and Elle has two badges. Selexa has one, and now two girls have none. So it's going to be like, oh, now we can make like an easier decision because we don't have to pick between Bonnie and Elle. And we still have the Katrin versus Tyrus thing going on, which I don't even know how we're going to get through that because next week is a roast, and how are they going to put Katrin in the bottom against Tyrus? Like, I don't know what they're doing there. Or if they're going to put Selexa in the bottom with Tyrus, maybe Tyrus sends her home, and then we have the couple at the bottom, like, or in the, I don't know, the bottom two of the top four, possibly. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, the seasons feels weird, and the edit feels weird, and we said it's been Caucasian Real the whole time. And so at this point, I'm just like, this episode really showed everything that we've been saying this whole time. Like, Bonnie couldn't even put an outfit together that was on the runway. She physically could not put together a single outfit just to run on the runway in the whole day and a half she had.
It was
Not
rough.
even a slip dress.
Just rough. This whole season, this whole experience has been very. I don't think it's as bad as everybody is saying it is, but I also don't think it
It's
warrants
worse.
any positivity really whatsoever. Like, I'm trying to like. Uh, this is going to be one of those seasons we look back on and just kind of like WTF happened here. Um, but you know, as always, I can't wait for this all to be over. And
We're
hopefully
not going to talk
y'all
about
can't
the lip
either.
sync.
No, we're not talking about lip sync. We're just gonna move on and move on because it
Okay,
was what it is,
it was
girl.
fair enough. Yeah, I
It wasn't
mean,
anything, girl. I'm ready. I'm just ready for
yeah,
this all to be done. I'll be
fair enough.
honest.
Fair enough.
And hopefully y'all are too, especially if you made it this far. Again, thank you so much for listening. Make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and let us know as well how much you don't like this season in the comments below. But until next time, and on behalf of my co-caster QuackrrJack, this is Renegade signing out. Remember, keep spilling that tea, y'all. Bye.
Bye.